Big game tonight, Olympic send-off night at KeyBank Center, Sabres and Penguins. Paul Hamilton joining us. His appearance brought to you by Relax Honda. Relax, we got this. Paul, you get a break after tonight, but you can watch the Olympics. And
Paul's not going to Italy to cover the games?
What do you think, Paul? No? You want to go?
No, I'd love to go, but I'll be an Olympic reporter. I'll be, writing articles and stuff about Team USA and Team Sweden, probably Team Canada too, even though there's no Sabres on that team. But they're always interested in them.
Who's taking home gold, Paul? Come on, who do you got?
What do you think? Paul doesn't do predictions. I know this. Sometimes.
Think of it less as a prediction and more of a vision board. I don't know.
My vision hasn't hit me yet.
All right, fair enough.
How about last night? I don't think this is probably real, Paul, but when Charlie McAvoy went down for Boston last night and nobody knew what the extent of the injury was, got elbowed in the head, I thought about Samuelsson immediately because he's playing at such a level that you would think that guy can't be that far off the team, but also I don't think he went at any of the camps or anything, so I don't know how much he was even on their radar this year.
Yeah, he wasn't on the radar, but that's just the type of defenseman you need. I mean, a guy who, first of all, eliminates plays and can play at a high level against the other team's best players, and now has added an offensive twist to his game. So really, if you look at it, you're right, he hasn't been to any of the camps, but that's exactly the type of defenseman that you need if you want a winning team.
Paul Hamilton on the Wester Hotline here. Sabres and Pens tonight. So, Paul, we didn't talk to you yesterday after the Florida trip. They got a point in Tampa. They got 2 against Florida, 3 out of 4. It's the classic would you take, right? Would you take 3 out of 4? 100 times out of 100. And I also think as much as you want 2 points out of that because you have the lead late, it's a game your third goalie is maybe stealing for you on some level. And just I was more than happy to get a point. And listen, people will say it's a loser mindset, Paul, but I'm going to be pretty happy to get a point every single night because I think if they get a point every single night, they might get in. So, when you're in the lead, it's different. You don't need as much to get there, to get home. And I just want to kind of keep that mindset alive throughout the rest of the season.
They were disappointed, and I was happy to see it. And that carrot was still out there. You were playing Tampa 4 times. Well, you happen to beat Tampa 4 times. Now maybe you're talking about being in first place in the Atlantic Division. Now, I'm not saying that they would have done that, but, and the first game was right there for them, and they were disappointed they didn't get it. Now, you're right. If you say before the trip, you know what, we'll give you 3 out of 4 points, you don't even have to go. All right, fine. You're going to go play the 2-time defending Stanley Cup champions and then the team that's 18-1-1 in their last 20 back-to-back in Florida. I would take that. Yeah, give me 3 or 4. Let's move on to Thursday against Pittsburgh Penguins. But the way it went down, where you're seconds away from walking away with 2 points and giving Tampa none in a 4-point trip, there was a lot of disappointment in that room. They aren't into, that's the moral victories.
Yeah.
They felt they should have left there with 2 points in that game and 4 points for the trip.
Paul, I said this to these guys yesterday, and it wasn't any shot at the players that they have. I felt like the 3-on-3 overtime, to me, was a moment where it crystallized for me that if I'm Jarmo Kekalainen thinking about adding something to this team, it's another finisher. Maybe that's something that could also help the power play because rolling out 3-on-3, I mean, Peyton Krebs and Ryan McLeod are nice players, good players. They've got their spots. McLeod's got speed. But in overtime, it felt like I was waiting for Tage, and if it wasn't him, I didn't know who was going to do it. And I know you don't play 3-on-3 in overtime in the playoffs, but I do think you'll need finishers. And if Jarmo Kekalainen is going to look to add anything to this team, you've said top 6. I feel like finishing is something I'd want to add.
Yeah, and, Buffalo outshot Tampa 5-0 until Tampa got their first shot and won the game. Dahlin walked in, had a great chance in a 2-on-1. They basically played it the way they should, take the pass away and give the goaltender the shooter. And Dahlin came right down Main Street. I mean, had a great opportunity. I mean, he'd be one of the guys you're thinking of that, hey, if you get a great opportunity, let it be him or let it be Thompson or let it be Tuck. Those are the guys you're looking at to to do it in overtime, and it's not 3-on-3 overtime in the playoffs, but it's overtime. You know, it's 5-on-5 overtime, but you're still playing overtime. So, you know, I look at it recently when you look at things and how the Sabres are doing. They've come up quite a bit in the goals for the league. They're 6th in the league in scoring at 3.39 goals per game, and right above them are Carolina and Edmonton at 3.41. So they're almost 4th in the league in goal scoring. And in this I say little stretch, it's 27 games. They're right on top of the league when it comes into scoring.
Paul Hamilton on the Sabres and Penguins tonight. Paul, let's get to the Sabres injury report brought to you by Hamburg Overhead Doors. Your garage door injured, call the experts at Hamburg Overhead Door to get your door healthy again. Do you think anybody that's on the fringe sits tonight? You got one game to get to the break and then a lot more time to get healthy. But Norris, Benson, let's roll through some of their injuries and what's happening here. And also, of course, the news, Luukkonen, his injury will keep him from going to the Olympics.
Yeah, Finland needed an answer. You know, it's as simple as that. And if Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen is like, well, maybe I can get back in the time. It's possible. They can't have it's possible. They need you're ready or you're not. And that's kind of one of the reasons why that decision was made. Because Lindy Ruff told us, they didn't practice yesterday, but told us 2 days ago that he's improving. I think he told you guys that too. Mm-hmm. You know, that he's improving. But, you know, might he be ready when the break is over? Probably a good chance. And Lindy Ruff also told us that they got to make a decision on Norris. It sounds like Norris could play. And they have to make a decision what's in the best interest of the player and the Buffalo Sabres. All right, he's ready. Is it worth throwing him out there for this one game? Or is it better to not put him out there for this one game and then give him the whole break to make sure he's fine and then roll him out for game one coming out of the break?
Paul Hamilton with us on the Wester Hotline. The Penguins, Paul, the matchup tonight, like, what do you think of them? Like, they're having a much better season than the last 3 years. They got a lot of overtime losses, which, again, like, those are ties going into regulation, so that doesn't mean they're a bad team at all. Just I do wonder how good they are. Like, they've been one of these teams recently that's been very top-heavy without depth, and maybe they're a little bit better in that department than they've been in past years.
Well, they doubled the Sabres on loser points, and Buffalo's still 2 points ahead of them in the standings. But Pittsburgh has gotten hot lately. You know, I figured out 3 different sets of numbers. They're 6-1-1 in their last 8, 7-1-3 in their last 11, and 13-3-3 in their last 19. Is that right? Yeah, that's last 19. So they've gotten hot too. Now it doesn't match the Sabres 21-4-2. But it has kind of vaulted them up the standings. They're 1-7 in shootouts, which have hurt them. Sabres are 3-0. The Sabres just don't get it into a lot of shootouts. You look at other teams, the 8 for the Penguins, 9 for the Islanders, 7 for the Hurricanes, 3 for the Sabres. So the Sabres just don't get into a lot of shootouts where other teams do. And not getting the loser points, which have hurt them in past seasons, so far has not hurt them in this one.
7 o'clock puck drop. One last game before the break. It's exciting, Paul. And then, we'll all be upset that they're gone, and hopefully they come back. What will the plan be? They're going to go on vacation, maybe come back, start skating with a week left, make sure they're back in shape, and then New Jersey's the first game out.
Yeah, a lot of them do. They vacation together. I remember the one picture, I don't remember where they were. They were across the ocean. There were like 12 couples there. It was back when Dylan Cousins was on the team. I remember he was one of them. And they like travel together and have some fun that way. This team does a lot of things together. They're a pretty close group. So they might vacation together, do those types of things. I'll guarantee you one thing. They probably aren't real excited about having a break. They're excited about vacationing with their families maybe. But with the way they're playing, I don't know if they want to get away for a couple of weeks and have to jump back into it.
The other thing, by the way, when teams usually reset after the Olympics, I know it's been a long time since it's happened, Won't teams often rest guys that were at the games for a game? Like,
Sometimes.
wouldn't it be possible, Paul? Maybe it depends how far they go. But I mean,
exactly. You hit it right. How far do you go?
Like if it's USA and Sweden in the gold medal game, for instance, like maybe we see Tage and Dahlin take a night off,
Especially goaltenders.
right?
You know, they do that with. I'm trying to think when Ryan Miller came back.
I remember it was a game in Pittsburgh, coincidentally, and
Standing ovation.
He got a standing
Yes,
ovation.
yes.
But he
I
was
remember.
backing up, like because he was he was like going off in the corner. I don't even think he was in the bench.
Yes.
And Crosby, I think, got booed.
The gold medal game is for the men is Sunday, February 22nd.
Okay, which is 3 days, I think, before the Sabres.
The
would
Sabres'
be back in.
first game back is February 25th.
Okay, yeah.
So
You're right. Paul's right. It depends how far they go.
right.
Yeah, and also you look at here's another opportunity. Sabres win tonight. They will be tied with the Montreal Canadiens in both points percentage and points for second place in the Atlantic Division.
They'd just be in flat out second because they have more regulation wins.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
So flat out second place if they win tonight. All right, Paul. We'll be there. Enjoy it.
Sounds good, guys.